Hi, so we're going to create a Linux Ubuntu VM from Azure CLI, and we're going to be using the Azure Cloud Shell to do that instead of the command prompt. So let's see how to do that. So we are back on the Azure portal and we'll click on the Azure Cloud Shell. So we're back on the Azure Cloud Shell, so I'm going to raise this up a bit, and we're going to try the AZ command with the help command, and we would like to create the virtual machine. So what we are looking for is VM, which says manage Linux or Windows virtual machines. So we're going to type that AZ VM, and we'll use the same help command, and we can see we can start the VM, we can stop the VM, we can update, we can also create, which is what we are going to do. So create an Azure virtual machine. So we'll type azvm create, then we use the help command, and we can see the arguments. We need to specify the resource group, and also we need to give the VM a name, and we are also going to specify the VM's image, as we can see here, and we're going to specify the username and password too, and we can see the admin username and admin password, which are the authentication arguments that we would require. So let's go on and create the VM. So we're going to use the AZ command, then VM, then create. So the first one is the resource group, which we are going to use that way, or we use -G. That's the resource group, and we're going to call this the resource group which we created, and let's confirm that. So resource groups, and we can see rglab02. So we'll type there rglab02. Then next I would need to give it the name of the VM, and we can see the name. Either we use the double dash with name or -n. So either I do this with double dash name or -n, and I'm going to call this the VM lab up to VM1. Then I'm going to give the image of the Linux distribution. So we'll go up here to image, and we can see the name of the operating system image, -- image. And we're going to use the Ubuntu LTS, that's the image, and then we need to give the username and password. We'll look for the authentication arguments. We can see admin username and admin password. So I'm going to type admin username, and I'll call that Azure admin, and admin password, I'm going to call that Azure admin 123. So I'm going to change that because it says the password must have a special character, and now it's running, and now we can see that the virtual machine is currently running as it specifies here. The location West Europe, and the resource group is the rglab02, and it gives its public IP address. So this means that the virtual machine is has been created. So let's list the virtual machine. So Azure and VM list. Okay, let's do that with the table format. So Azure virtual machine list, then we'll output in table, and we can see that the resource group is there and the VM lab 201 has been created in this resource group in West Europe. So let's also do that, list it out with the description command, so that we'll get more information, and we can see that the VM is running and the public IP is also included. So let's create another VM, which we will call O2, but this time we are going to change the way of typing in the commands just a little bit. We are going to use the escape string so that the commands can be listed out neatly. So let's do that, and we'll say Azure VM create. We'll use the escape string, so we'll use that. Then we'll type the next command, which is the resource group. Then we'll use the escape string again, and the next one is the name. Then we'll use the escape string again. The next is the image we want to use. We'll use the escape string again, and the next, remember, is our username, then the password, and we'll use the escape string again, and then we need the password, and here we can press enter, and we can see that it's creating our second virtual machine. Now we can see that the virtual machine has been created because it says VM running with the public IP address. So let's list out the virtual machines. So Azure VM list, and we're going to do that in the table format -o table, and we're going to list in the full description. So we'll do that, and now we can see that we have our two virtual machines with the resource group in the same resource group, and both are running, and we have their public IPs, and they are both hosted in West Europe. So if we go back to the Azure portal, let's confirm that we have our virtual machines running. So we'll click resource group, and we can see RG Lab 02. We'll click that, and in there we should have our two virtual machines that have been created. So if we come also to our virtual machines, we can see the two of them here, and both are in the resource group, so and they are running. So we've been able to successfully create our virtual machines from the Azure command line using the Azure Cloud Shell, and we have been able to fully deploy both currently running.